Shares of Zee Entertainment surged a stellar 40% after the company's largest shareholders have called an EGM to seek the removal of Puneet Goenka from the board. As we all know, Ashok Kurian and Manish Chokhani have already resigned from the board of the company ahead of the AGM today. And this comes after a proxy advisory firm, IIAS, raised serious corporate governance issues in the company by asking shareholders not to vote for reappointing the duo on the company's board. So let's take it across to the founder of the firm IIAS, Mr. Anil Singhvi, to understand what prompted the move and what is the likely way forward for Zee Entertainment now. Mr. Singhvi, thank you so much for taking time out. Talk to us about the recommendations that your firm has made to the shareholders of Zee and why, and more importantly, if you could shed some light on what the big red flags were.
Well, in case of these two directors, Mr. Ashok Kurian and Mr. Chokhani, our major issues have been that they failed in protecting the rights of the shareholders, minority shareholders more importantly. And important factor is that they were onto the two committees. One is audit committee, the other one is NRC. And these are the two committees which are comprising of the experts. And most often we have seen that people who are so-called independent directors do not take the independent view. Their views are colored. Their views are more to take the views of the management and the promoters. And in this particular case, the audit committee miserably failed, where Manish Chokhani was a part of the audit committee, to look at related party transactions, whether they were done at arm's length, which is the most important factor, and importantly enough, were they really protecting the rights and the value for minority shareholders. Our own observation and our own facts, which we borne out and we sent out to the company, were revealing that they did not look into the arm's length transactions. Related party transactions were more to do and favor the promoters, which did not go well with the large number of shareholders. When we engaged with them, they were always questioning these two. And then came the NRC, the decision of the NRC to give the rise of the salary of Mr. Pawan Goenka. I think the point to be noted is very clear that the NRC members, they are supposed to look at the CEO performance. They are supposed to look at the performance of the company, and importantly enough, how is CEO compensated as compared to the rest of the team. I would definitely put this point that both these members did not do their job well. They should have checked what is the salary levels, what is the rise given to others, how has the company done. The company has really failed to create value for shareholders. And over a period of time, you see how Zee, such a beautiful company. Again, I must say that Zee is one of the finest companies we have in terms of what is the platform, what they are doing, but they are unable to create shareholder value because of the two factors. A is the related party transactions. There were huge amount of transactions which took place between Zee and their promoter-driven companies. And B, on top of it, you have Mr. Goenka, who is still running the company, and there was no action taken by the board to professionalize the management team to see that the shareholder value is unlocked. So I think these were the many factors which made shareholders to really think about it, that should their presence be continued. And when we looked at it, we found merit in the shareholders' concern on that, and that's how we recommended that these two gentlemen should not be voted again because they were coming up for renewal of their terms. And I'm glad that they stepped down, because I think there were enough feeling that they would have been voted out.
So which way is it likely to go now? The institutional investors' effort to push out the promoter could lead to the appointment of a new professional managing director to drive future performance, or perhaps a potential stake sale as well by these institutional shareholders. What is your assessment? Is there a third scenario as well that one should be looking at? How do you see things shaping up at Zee?
As I often say, that the proof of the pudding is in eating. Today, you have seen the share price has gone up by 25-30%. That shows very clearly that there is a bit of a dichotomy here. It's a beautiful company. It's one of the best companies in media sector we have in India, but it's very poorly managed and very poorly run. So if there is going to be a change of the management and the top management, I'm sure the shareholders' value will be unlocked big way. And that's what perhaps Invesco will do, because they waited. And in fact, they have given a fairly good chance to the management team to professionalize the whole thing, to create the value, to look at various options, including the sale of the company to somebody who can create a much bigger platform and value. But having failed this completely, and having seen this kind of board, which is so compromised on every decision of the company, I think it will be very important to see how Invesco, being the largest shareholder today, wants to take this thing forward, get some good people on the board and appoint a professional CEO. In fact, according to me, the Goenka family should be happy that what they are left with, about 4% shareholding, their value today is up by 30%. Just by this one action, that this existing director should be voted out and new director should come in. Ultimately, at the end of the day, every shareholder, which includes the promoter, it should be their goal that their wealth creation is there. If somebody else can create wealth for you, good enough. Why do you want to work for yourself if somebody else is doing their job? So I think it's important for us to understand in India that why promoters should cling on to the job. Is it only because the power and the money which is coming, or is something else? And if somebody else can create much better value, then stay back and take a back seat and allow somebody else to drive the company. And this is what I suppose Invesco is going to do that.
So does the likely new management have its task cut out for them already?
I think the first and the foremost, and I think which holds good for every board, they are the fiduciaries. They should be looking at all stakeholders rather than just looking at promoters. So I'm sure the new appointees will take a cue from where the older set of directors were shown the door, and they will look for what kind of management team should be there, which is creating value, and look at various options. Whether the same team can generate a much better value, whether the company should be sold out, or whether there should be some strategic investor who should be coming in. So I think various options could be there, but that whole debate and discussions will be dispassionate without looking into the aspect that, oh, who should be the owner? Because I think we are still suffering. The board most of the time in India suffers from a very, very feudal mindset, the feudal mindset of jamidari. And I think this whole business of jamidari is gone. Now one has to look at it that what is the real purpose of this company, how it can create value for all shareholders, not only one set of shareholders. And secondly, paying this huge amount of money to the promoters or the family of the promoters and all that, I think should be a thing of past. Every board should measure it that whether he's the right person or she's the right person to run the company, A. B, then how the person should be compensated, get all the comparative charts. And if you can't do this job, if NRC can't do it, and not necessarily that all members of NRC are experts in looking at remuneration and all that, get outside help. Get some good consultants, HR consultants, who can give you whether the person is the right person to run this entire company and what should be the compensation. It's a very easy thing. But oftentimes I've seen that directors do not do that. They don't rise to the occasion and try to clap for the promoters, be on the board or be on the committees on this. So I think the new directors, new set of people will take a cue from what has happened in Zee. And I think today the shareholders have really given a thumbs up to the entire episode. Going forward, I think it will create value. I'm sure the new board will be cognizant of the fact that those who did not create value, those who did not believe in creating a value, were shown the door.
Mrs. Singhvi, this is not the first time when a shareholder has shown exit doors to promoters when they're alleged for wrongdoings. What cues should other companies be taking from this episode?
Well, as I mentioned to you, that Zee has, as a company which is engaged with the entertainment, I think all of us are aware of it. It's one of the finest companies in terms of what it offers. But the point is that whether it is offered from the customer's perspective or whether it is from the shareholder's perspective, I think the board's role in this case would be to see how company can create more value for shareholders, and B, whether with the 4% shareholding of the promoter, I wouldn't call them a significant holder of the stake in the company. And today, in fact, the markets have shown that if they are not there, then the stock will run much better. So I think it is very important to see what are steps they have taken in the past 2 years. Definitely did not create the shareholder value. And today, and one day, when this notice has been served for the directors to be removed, I think the share price has gone up. And always believe in this, that the shareholder value is what the valuations are showing up. There's no other value which you can attach. There's no other emotion which you can attach than the emotion in which share prices go up or come down. So I think the litmus test for every corporate, which is a listed corporate, is the share price. As some very astute investor in India says, Bhav Bhagwan, Baki sab bakwas. So today it has proved beyond doubt that Bhav is Bhagwan, believe in that, the price is almost godly.
So, will this finally lead to an end of all the governance concerns and perhaps create shareholder value now that a possible management change is on the cards?
Well, I won't say the company ever faced much of a problem. If you take away the related party transactions and if you take away the fact that the promoters were hugely levered, the shareholding came down not because they infused more funds into the company and diluted, the fact that these shares were pledged. So when you disassociate those issues that the promoters chose to get into many newer fields for a variety of reasons, and that was the reason that many related party transactions are not above board, and then finally they have to pledge their own shares. So in fact, I feel very sorry because this company was really created very well by Mr. Subhash Chandra. But unfortunately, getting unrelated diversification and unrelated businesses resulted into his shareholding coming down to a small single digit. But hopefully, as I mentioned to you, the company is a great company. There are not many competition into this space. If it is run well, if it is put into the hands of a good professional CEO, I'm sure it will create tremendous value and value for the family as well, so long as they own 4 or 5%. Today also, like I said, their value went up by 25-30% in a day. So I'm sure things will sort it out well. The new board will learn some lessons of the past mistakes and take a corrective course and create value.
Mrs. Singhvi, this is not the first time when a shareholder has shown exit doors to promoters when they're alleged for wrongdoings. What cues should other companies be taking from this episode?
I think the only thing which I want to leave with that many other boards who are also engaged with these kind of questionable dealings and questionable practices should take a cue from this, that the days of shareholders demanding and in a very short period are rising only. So I think it's much better that before they are named and shamed, they must put the house in order. If they can't do that, and if they think that they are not competent or capable of being on the board, I think I would urge them to retire, live happily, rather than getting through all this kind of trouble by media naming them and putting them that they have really not created value for the shareholders.
All right, and on that note, Mr. Singhvi, thank you so much once again for joining us on Money Control on a very important day as this, for sharing your insights, your observations on what's happening at the helm of Zee Entertainment and what is the likely way forward.
Thank you so much.